For those interested in science, civics, and health, we must do a little math. And I'm especially calling on people to urge, well, it may not work for these people, are authoritarians in power, because I don't think they want to do math in the first place. The math defeats a lot of their control-oriented purposes. So for the rest of us, let's start with Math 101. What is a rate? A rate is a ratio. It is usually expressed as a fraction. Remember, there's a bar, numerator above, denominator below. And what people who have studied COVID have to do is give rates. Rates of, in the beginning of COVID, or in the beginning of when COVID came to Western attention, we saw very high rates of numerator, people who died from COVID, divided by denominator, people who were known to have COVID. Those rates were extraordinarily high in March and April of 2020. They resulted in 3 out of 100 people dying. That's a huge death rate from any disease. That's about like modern combat death rate. But not that many people were known to have the disease. We weren't testing in a widespread way. And sure enough, once the denominator grew, because more and more people were seen to have the disease, but no more people, not significantly more, were succumbing, dying from the disease, the numerator staying about the same, the denominator getting really big, meant COVID incidents that caused death were a much lower rate. Didn't mean COVID was any more virulent in the first days, and it somehow got better. It just means that we didn't have the number in the denominator to show a true rate. What happened? It means that, or it meant that we took all these drastic measures, shut down businesses, stay 6 feet away from park. Remember, cleaning furiously, surfaces couldn't be touched because of a reaction based on a badly interpreted statistic. Let's go forward to today, where there are many state governors who see an uptick in another ratio, a higher number than before, or maybe it's the same number in the numerator and a lower number in the denominator. I'm now referring to the COVID infection rate among people who are tested, denominator. The number who have COVID actually is a numerator. But if very few people are getting tested over the last couple months, then COVID hasn't really changed. It's just that our reporting of it changed. So look why this is very realistic and dangerous. In August and early September, there were high numbers of people getting tested. We were going back to school. A lot of people were getting into employment once again and had to get tested or chose to get tested. So, big denominator back in August and early September. Now that things are kind of normal, it's mid-November, and a lower denominator. Same numerator means it looks like COVID transmission rates have gone up, but they haven't. It's a number over a number that has grown. Now, the worst thing, authoritarians use this growing number to continue controlling. That is what many governors are doing. Look, govern means control. And too few governors who've said, we want to leave it to the people. So many are using numerical increases by fraction, not by actual incidences, to justify, oh, we better be double boosting. We better be forcing people to do things, keeping people away from one another once again. This is diabolical use of statistics. And here in my state came a, I think, misleading, maybe it's a downright lie. My governor saying, reported in the Hartford Courant, COVID is like a heat-seeking germ. It goes right at the unvaccinated. Well, that's not true, okay? COVID doesn't know whether somebody is vaccinated or not. It might penetrate and cause virus proliferation within the unvaccinated, but don't tell us that it manages to find unvaccinated people first. It's a ruse to once again get more people into a regime that benefits Pfizer and benefits control, because if you stay unvaccinated, COVID is coming to get you. It's coming to get everyone in the same proportion. It affects people differently. We know this because it affected old people much more differently than younger people. And it does seem like vaccines will be an extra layer of protection. But don't go telling us that vaccination is what is just keeping COVID away from your body in the first place. That would be a lie. Right now, I call it a damned misleading statement. Do the real science. Adhere to real math. And let us make decisions for ourselves. I'm Mark Stewart.